Hi, everybody. It's Lindsey Baker. I'm here on Rescue Stories today with two very special guests. This is going to be so much fun. We are going to have live music, and we have Sarah Siegel, two ladies, kick butt activists. And unfortunately, and we want to say this up front, we are so sorry that Kim Delgado could not make it. We're very disappointed. I want to show her activism a little bit, even though she's not here. We'll do that. But the reason she can't be with us is her poor kitty, her companion, is very ill, I believe, and she's sitting with that person and staying with them. And it's very sad. She did a live, and I'm going to start crying. So I'm not going to talk about that anymore. So Lisa Barca is here with us, and her husband, Steve Davis. They are part of a band called Scarlet Rescue, and they are a vegan punk band, and they're going to play for us in just a couple of minutes. And Sarah's going to show us a few cuts of her activism. We're going to talk about Sarah and all the great things she does. And then Sarah wants to share something about boycott meats. We have a lot to talk about, everybody. And we're going to turn it over to you guys, Lisa, for you guys are going to, what are you going to be playing for us right now?
Well, hi. So I'm Lisa. Thanks for that wonderful introduction, Lindsay. And thanks for having us on today. I'm Lisa Barca. This is my husband, Steve Davis. As Lindsay mentioned, we are half of the all-vegan band Scarlet Rescue, and we released a video for our song Barbecue Protest on July 4th, so just a few weeks ago now. And it's just had so much resonance. Vegans everywhere have been saying, wow, this song just speaks to how I feel, and they've just been enjoying the video and the song so much. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about why I wrote the song and what I'm trying to communicate with it before I play it. So as vegans, we're living in a world where the signs of speciesist violence are everywhere. There's just really no escape from it. And so much of social life revolves around events where the bodies of dead animals are served. And, as vegans, when we try to talk about the things that we've learned about what happens to animals and share our knowledge, as I'm sure many of you have experienced, people can react poorly to that sometimes. And I guess I decided that my principles and standing up for animals is not something that I'm willing to sacrifice for friendship. And so with this song, I hope to encourage vegans to speak out, speak from the heart, be real. Don't be intimidated by a culture that wants to tell us to be quiet, stop forcing our views, and always censoring ourselves. So,
all right, let's hear it.
Yeah, here goes this song, Barbecue Protest. Oh, there we go. I've been on the outside for a long time, which makes me less concerned about your approval. If my vision meets with your derision, you'll be flagged for removal. 'Cause I don't mind walking on my own, no. And I don't mind deleting you from my phone. We're all born and die alone anyway, like the feeling beings we killed for food today. So I don't want to go to the barbecue. I don't want to go 'cause it makes me blue. And now that you know, are we still friends? Sorry, I can't bend. Before you unfollow me, will you hear what I have to say? There's nothing more hollow-see than looking the other way. You don't want to hear unpopular opinions, and I don't have a megaphone or minions. I make nice, pretend it doesn't bother me, but that's another me. The real one says, I don't want to go to the barbecue. barbecue. I don't wanna go 'cause it makes me blue. And now that you know, are we still friends? And I don't mind finally taking a stand. Won't find me in Hamburglar land, not by my dollar or my hand. No, I don't want to go to the barbecue. I still won't want to go in a year or two. I don't want to go to the barbecue, and I ain't gonna show no matter what you do. Now that you know, are we still friends? Or is this the end?
All right. Very nice. Thank you so much. I don't want to go to a barbecue. Yes, we're hearing that playing all over Veganville next 4th of July. That was great.
Thank you so much. Yeah. We still need the song after all this time. I was thinking, are we going to get sick of it at some point? And yeah, anyway.
No, it's very catchy. What do you think, Sarah?
Oh, I love it. I actually started memorizing some of the song because I heard it before when you were performing it on Jane Unchained.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. I think you did it over July 4th weekend because so many people go to barbecues.
I did it on Lunch Break Live, on July 4th. And I played it, a little sneak preview at the Vegan World 2026 conference back in October 17th, back before the world shut down and we could all just get together in a big room without masks and sit next to each other. It seems like a bygone era now. It's so crazy, but we're so incredibly moved that vegans are feeling inspired and uplifted and motivated by the song. It's just such a gift to be able to share it. So thank you.
I want to talk for a minute about Kim. I'm sorry she's not here, but since I put up some slides, I thought I would just show them. So Kim Delgado is involved in a lot of different animal rights organizations. Every time I go to an event, Kim is there. Kim helps everybody. She's a great organizer. She's just amazing at details, and she's helped me a lot of times. And I believe she helps out with the Physicians Committee on Responsible Medicine. So I made some nice slides, and I just wanted to show them. I wanted to honor Kim, of course. And here she does a lot of work with National Animal Rights Day and ALAM. And you'll see here a lot of animal rights people that you know. There's Joaquin Phoenix and Rooney Mars. And this is, of course, Lori Allen from SpongeBob. There's Kim, and that is, of course, Thea and Ellen Erickson. And if you keep going back, you'll see all these people you know. And then here's a picture with her, I guess, one of the events for NARD. Kim, actually, I guess Moby and Joaquin both showed up, which is pretty incredible. And so Kim was involved in that. Like I said, she very much hands-on with NARD, is from what I know. She was always working very close with ALAM, and she would be the one that I would go ask questions. She's the first person I met. Actually, NARD was the first animal rights event that I went to with Sheena Gao, because Sheena got me involved with animal rights. So let me see, I have a couple more of Kim. But it's just fun to look at them. And then here she is at the Vegan Toastmasters. So I'll definitely going to have her on again on one of these shows where I bring on rescue people like you guys. Since you're not with an organization, we don't always get to hear from you. So this is a perfect show to bring on individual rescue people that do activism and rescue. And that's kind of what I want to do some of the time. And then this is another shot. I remember this. We were there together. That was at UCLA. And of course, the hideous experimentation. So she gets around a lot, like I said. I think that's all I have for her as far as pictures. And so I thought it'd be nice just for everybody to give Kim a big round of applause for all the stuff she does. And we love you, Kim, and we hope you feel better soon. I'm sure everybody in the audience feels the same. So thank you. So Sarah, I have a couple of clips of your activism. So I thought I'd play one and then we could just talk about it for a moment. So this one, I believe you were at the California Horse Racing Board meeting and you have 3 minutes to speak. So we couldn't play the whole 3 minutes.
Why aren't you open to feeling the crop on your body? So
we're not talking about
they hurt the horses with it.
speculations of regard to
Right. So basically, they're allowed to talk about whipping the horses, and we're not allowed to talk about how it hurts the horse. You don't even talk about the horses here, actually. You just talk about yourself. So it's just all of these men in here talking about yourself and money, not about the horses.
You want to talk about the crop, you have to come back next month when that is on the agenda.
The crop is on the agenda. It's number 12. Do you not have the agenda in front of you?
The specification.
The use of the crop. The use of the crop. Just like the use of a bullhook on an elephant, a use of a crop to control a horse into doing something it's not naturally supposed to do. Horses do not hold their babies on their backs. That's unnatural.
And to answer your question,
And horses are not supposed to be.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
To
I have
answer
my
your
3
question,
minutes.
yes,
You can talk in a
I
minute.
have
Yeah.
already approved of the
Yeah, so you felt it on your body?
Yes, I have.
Okay, why don't
Yeah.
you do it now then in front of public so we can see for ourselves? What are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid of it.
Okay, well then why don't you try the soft crop on yourself? Yeah, you just don't like what I have to say.
This is not
Because, yeah, I can see that.
theater show here.
Well, let me just tell you something.
Ma'am.
I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm born and raised. I was around a racetrack all my life and I know about horses. So don't even try to talk to me that way. Because I have a right to say what I want to say. I have my 3 minutes. You do not, I can't even believe I'm in a room with adults that actually are trying to justify cruelty to animals. These horses do not in the natural carry their babies on their backs. It is completely unnatural for horses to carry humans. Of course, they are forced to do this. They are forced to do this. How do they do this? By control. I just heard all of you talk about control of the horse, using the crop, which is called a whip. So, what is that? You can't ride a horse without a whip? No, because you're not supposed to ride horses. They're supposed to be in the wild. This is unnatural. They're in their stalls 23 hours a day. And I heard Aiden come up here earlier talk about how the barns are in bad condition and you need to fix them up.
Wow, Sarah, you read him. That was a read, all right. So,
Sarah, can I just say I am in awe of you? Like, wow. That was just so badass. I'm sorry, I just have to say that.
So Sarah, tell me, what was the reaction in the audience when you were saying that? Were most of the people with you, or was it kind of like, did you feel like you were kind of on your own there?
That was really the point where I was just, I don't want to be in a room where this is an acceptable meeting to even have, talking about how you're going to beat a horse into submission. They really have rules on how many times you can whip a horse. Okay? Really? How many times can you beat? And it's animal abuse. They have rules of how they're going to abuse animals. And we all know that horses do not carry their babies they never carry their babies on their back. Horses will never do that, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So why are grown adults on the backs of horses racing them all for a $2 bet? Because it's all for money. And how they get people to gamble is they have the $2 bet and it gets them hooked. I myself have actually been to a racetrack and bet on horses with my family because that's the tradition.
Right.
And I didn't know, but now I know, obviously. But most people don't know. They think horse racing is just about glamour, right? We don't even think about the horse, right? People that race horses, they don't love horses. They just love horse racing.
Right.
Honestly, it's just they just love horse racing. They just you don't love horses and then force them to race. And I know they say they like to run. They do like to run in the wild. They don't like to run when they don't want to.
Right.
That's just not right. It just seems like common sense. And the fact that I had to say that in front of a room of grown adults, it's just, that was my breaking point, because you're in a room with grown adults. But why are you talking about animal abuse in this room? Why is that even allowed? And
Or how much is acceptable? Yeah, how much of what's the amount that's acceptable?
And then, they push back on us and everything. And then now the meetings have moved. So, of course, now they're online because of COVID. But before that, they moved up to NorCal so that we couldn't attend because they don't want us there. They don't want public comment. They only allow us 30 minutes anyway. So 30 minutes of a 6-hour meeting or something. It's crazy.
I mean, it seems pretty obvious because from the beginning, I covered some of those meetings in the beginning, and it was at the beginning of public comment. It was supposed to be in the beginning, and then they made it go to the end, and then they started moving it farther and farther away from this area because there was quite a group of activists that would go to those. Yeah, I wasn't at, which one was that, Sarah, that you were talking?
This was at Los Alamitos in December. In December. Yeah.
Oh, in December. I didn't go to that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I went.
Lisa, I wanted to ask you, how did you guys get involved in activism? Were you both involved, or did you kind of get into it separately? How did that come about?
Yeah, so I went vegan. I had been vegetarian for a really long time, and I just didn't know the whole story, of course, because if you're a vegetarian, you don't know the whole story. And then around Mother's Day, there are these wonderful Mother's Day campaigns against dairy, which I'm so glad they exist, because 3 years ago, around Mother's Day, I came across online a video of the baby calf being separated from her mother. And as vegans, we know, right? We know this heartbreaking scene. Farmers know it too. They see it every day, but they're in a state of denial or dissociation about it. Some of them will admit it, though, how tragic it is. The mother bellowing, crying after her baby. You can see this is a mother's grief. And the baby just mewing and so scared. And it was just the saddest thing. I don't know if I've ever seen, and I've seen some sad things in my time. At that moment, it was one of the saddest things I had ever seen. I kind of collapsed on the floor, and I was just saying to myself, how did I not know? How did I not know this? And I promptly
don't know, because the dairy industry keeps it hidden. It makes this beautiful. It shows cows in beautiful fields, and most people don't. I had the same story. I was vegan. I was vegetarian. And one time a colleague who had just had a baby said, "You're eating cheese?" And she said, "I would never let anyone rip my baby." And she got very emotional. And I go, "What do you mean?" I thought that cows gave milk automatically. And, I'm supposed to be a college professor. And I got ignorant and uninformed about, okay, that's not my field, but still, you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. How did I get to this point in my life and not know this? And I try to remember that when I'm advocating. Not that I think we should let people off the hook, but I do try to remember that somehow I was snowed by all this propaganda for that long. I'm just so glad and so grateful that my eyes were finally open, because I can't even imagine my life if I hadn't gone vegan. It would be a terrible thing. And so I'm so glad that I finally had my eyes open. I got all the dairy out of my house. I went vegan on the spot when I saw this video. And then I started, but I didn't know any vegans. Actually, at that time, and maybe others of us have experienced this, I didn't really know many or hardly any vegans. So I went online and I found the Anonymous for the Voiceless, Cubes for Truth, that were happening weekly at that time in downtown Phoenix. And I went out to some of those and started meeting some of the activists. I went to my first Slaughterhouse Vigil. We have, I think, one of the biggest slaughterhouses in the West here in the Phoenix, Arizona area. And so I've gone to some vigils there. I went to my first vigil a little over a year ago. They slaughter many cows every week there, and going to my first vigil was again another level of eye-opening. And I just, every day I grow more and more committed to speaking up for these animals. The whole life revolves around it. I do activism at the university where I teach through my teaching. I teach an animal ethics course. And I have many students in their midterm and final reflections say that they're either going vegan or they get it now. They thought it was just a diet, or they thought it was extreme, and now they understand that it's not only is it not extreme, but it's what we might call a moral baseline. So I'm grateful to have that opportunity to open students' eyes. With Sailesh Rao, who lives here in the Phoenix area with us. I have come to the ASU campus multiple times to speak.
Yeah.
So we're reaching. So every day, my work life, my music life, my activism, I'm just always dedicating my life to speaking up for these animals.
And Sarah, I wanted to ask you now about your activism. I know that you did a lot of work with Cuba Truth. It seems like you're always somewhere doing some activism. So can you talk about it and how you got involved and when you became vegan and so forth?
Yeah, sure. So I was actually living in Atlanta, and I had my business there, and I was with some friends at my friend's house, and I was sitting on the couch just talking about animal stuff and how much I loved animals. We were working on Prop 2, so that was supposed to be for cage-free. We all know that obviously they're not cage-free, but we're working on it. So I said, I love animals so much. And my friend Judy turned around and she snapped at me and she was like, well, if you love animals so much, then why do you eat them? And there was kind of just like this aha moment, kind of like 1 + 1 = 2. And I was like, oh, wow, yeah, okay. So then I just stopped doing that. I was already not eating meat and red meat because one of my friends had stopped eating red meat. So I thought, oh, that's cool. I won't eat red meat either. That's kind of a cool thing, not to eat meat. And I just didn't, like I said, I didn't know about anything else. So once I found out everything, I started looking online, watching documentaries. Then I decided that I didn't want to be part of that. Obviously, I don't want to eat a baby because that's really what it is. It's eating babies. And because they're 6 weeks old, pigs, when you're biting into bacon, you're actually biting into like ground up baby pigs that are gassed in gas chambers. Disgusting. So I don't know why anybody would want to eat that. And when you tell people that and they say that's gross and they turn around and still do it, I think they really have to bear witness. Like Lisa says, they have to bear witness. You have to see it for yourself. Everybody just has their aha moment, and everybody goes vegan on their own terms. And unfortunately, that's just selfish. And they should just go vegan because it's just the right thing to do. But it's got to be the right thing to do for them, because this is a me, I society, and that's just the way it is. So I really hope that people will realize it and make that connection. I made that connection by just someone saying it to me. Luckily, I had that, moment. Thank goodness I am an ethical vegan from that point on. And I just don't want anybody to be hurt by my actions. And when I go to bed every night, I don't want to have caused harm to any creature on this earth that has a heartbeat. Basically, right. That's why I'm vegan. It's really quite simple. It's just doing the right thing and aligning your morals and your values and with what's right,
But sometimes it's very difficult because there's so many people that will ridicule us and so forth. And I remember I saw you do a speak out at Nathan's one time. You were the only person there. That was, I thought,
at Pink's?
Yes, Pink's. I thought that was really brave.
I have a campaign called Pink Stinks.
Well, as we say, we don't like to name, but I already did.
Yeah, you're right.
It's on at any time. I seriously.
There's a place that does sell there's a place that sells dead baby pigs that we're not sure, but we pretty much think that they come from. I mean, all of the dead baby pigs come from a slaughterhouse close to LA, 3 miles away. We're not going to name the slaughterhouse, but we know that they come from there.
Yeah. Okay, let's watch this other speak out you did.
You wear fur from animals skinned alive, anally electrocuted, animals that are skinned alive and electrically electrocuted. Please stop wearing animals. Please stop wearing fur. There are so many other choices. Please stop wearing fur, Jessica.
We have to have faith in
Animals
this
are electrocuted.
But your faith is
Please stop
something
wearing
that
animals,
we talk about in Jamaica. Yay!
Well, I mean, these are the types of moments where you know that that you know when you're trying to speak about helping other people get through their own problems in their life, and when you talk about God, I mean, that is when darkness tries to seep in. And I just remember that. And nothing will hold me back from my calling that I felt. Go back, but I do have compassion for all of you, and I will make sure that my daughter and I pray for you tonight.
Wow. Now, we don't want to talk about the individual there so much, but more I wanted to ask you, I mean, how that felt for you. That takes a lot of courage to stand up. And it seems from tell me if this is true, the people around you, were they kind of hostile? It sounded like they were booing and stuff. And then what happened? Were you taken out? So tell us about the experience of actually doing it.
Okay, so what happened was we had a disruption of a celebrity who wears fur, and she's photographed wearing fur. So we decided we're going to do a disruption. So we had a 2-wave disruption, which works better. So the first wave were other activists, and they went on stage. And then I was the solo disruption by myself in the audience. And yes, I was extremely nervous because I didn't know the other activists would be taken out of the building, and I was left there. So I was nervous because I did make friends with everybody around me because I had met the celebrity in the past. So, you know, kind of had a rapport. So when I got up there, yeah, they didn't like that. But you know what? That's fine. They didn't like that, but I'm sorry. I just don't like when people skin animals alive either for fashion. I too have once worn fur, and I also did not know where it came from, because even my own mother was like, oh yeah, they raised those minks, you know, they raised them. She tried to act like they were in some like fabulous farm area or something. I don't know. Yeah. So I wore a vest once, a mink vest. And, you know, even Ingrid herself, Ingrid Newkirk, president of PETA, co-founder of PETA, talks about when she once wore a fur stole, and she also did not know. So once we know better, we do better. And after the celebrity was called out, and it was on major television, we made it on TMZ several times, she posted on her Instagram herself wearing a Stella McCartney faux fur. So that was good.
That's great.
Made a difference. And we hope she never wears fur again. But sometimes you just have to do what you got to do to wake people up, because people are asleep. Look at everybody. They're still eating animals and wearing masks.
Right.
Like, you could wear a mask all you want, but eating animals is not going to help you.
Agreed. Lisa, would you guys like to play another song now? What do you think?
Sure. Yeah, we're very happy to. So this next one, I may need to slightly reposition things here, but I think we can do it. So this next one is a song that we have been writing, that we're writing in collaboration with Jane Velez Mitchell. And it's a song in memory of Reagan Russell.
Oh, I have her picture. Yeah.
So Reagan, as I'm sure everybody knows, was just an exemplary activist and a beautiful person. And our movement right now is in mourning over the tragic loss of this a beautiful soul and this incredibly effective and brave activist. So Jane reached out to me almost a couple of weeks ago now and said, hey, do you want to work on a song to pay homage to Reagan and to preserve her memory? And I said, well, sure, I would love to do that. So she sent me some lyrics. It's tweak it, add things, work it out, work it into a song. So we've been doing that. It's pretty new. So if it's a little raw, just keep that in mind. It's called Reagan Song. Where did you go, Reagan Russell? You were here just a moment ago. In a flash, she got hit by the truck. I can see her blood flow. The pigs were thirsty and frightened. The slaughterhouse smell in the air. They scream from inside the truck, blood is everywhere. Go vegan for Reagan. She didn't die in vain. She gave her life to spare them the night. Go vegan for Reagan. Oh, we will fight in her name. Run down and killed. Her blood was spilled. Reagan took a stand at the slaughterhouse to give water and comfort the pigs, to beg us to stop the killing and let these babies live. The vigil was calm and peaceful, a protest with kindness and love. Reagan had the right to be there, gentle as a dove. Go vegan for Reagan. She didn't die in vain. She gave her life to spare them the night. Go vegan with Reagan. Oh, we will fight in her name. Run down and killed. Her blood was spilled. Where did you go, Reagan Russell? You were always here at the gate. You held your sign and spoke your mind till you met your fate. For vegan for Reagan, she didn't die in vain. She held her ground till they ran her down. Go vegan for Reagan. Oh, we will fight in her name. She died for
Wow, very nice. So you're writing that with Jane Velez Mitchell, is that right?
Yes, yes.
I just wanted to read this, what this says here. This is quite amazing. An angel cloud formation formed at a vigil for Reagan Russell at the Dundurn Castle in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. We were sharing stories about Reagan and singing when I noticed the angel in the sky. Woo, that's pretty incredible. Wow. Yeah. Well, that was just great. That was really great. So when you write these kind of songs, how do you go about it? Are you actually writing the lyrics, or how is that working out? Talk about the process a little bit, if you would.
Yeah. So, with my original songs like that I've completely written, like Barbecue Protest, I'll write the lyrics first. I'll start, trying to get a tune or beat in my head, play around with some chords and different combinations. And then sometimes in the course of that, I'll change the lyrics a little bit, tweak the melody, record it, redo it, re-record it, until it comes together. It's quite a process. There's a number of layers to it. Then we work it out with the band. With this song, Jane sent me most of those lyrics and a sort of a little piano part that she had for the song. And she said, turn it into a little bit more of an anthem, like a little bit more of a rock song. And we added a couple of lyrics. We added the lyrics, she didn't die in vain, and we will fight in her name. But most of the other lyrics are Jane's. And, we just sort of gave it a chord structure. And
so it's a collaborative effort.
It is, yes. And I'm very, very grateful and honored to be working on this with Jane. It's very exciting.
Yeah, she's very talented.
Yes.
Musically, we know she's talented, but I mean, musically, I was surprised to know she also was so, well, we have the same piano teacher, so it's kind of fun.
Oh, that's great.
I have some pictures of your band here I thought I'd show, and logo here. What's going on? Oh, there it goes. Okay, so it's Scarlet Rescue is their band, and your handle, is that Facebook handle, scarlet.rescue.music, or is that, what is that?
That's the handle that we have on Facebook. So yeah, it's
okay,
at scarlet.music. And, or I think.
Do I put the at sign?
What's that?
Do I have to put the at sign, because I'm putting it in right now, or not?
I think if you just search for Scarlet Rescue on Facebook, I would guess it would show up pretty high, if not the highest thing in the search.
Yeah, I won't put the at sign. So go ahead. I'm just going to type this in.
Okay.
You were saying about how you came about writing the song.
Yes.
The band. No, how you were talking about the band.
Oh, yeah. So in this photo that we're looking at, from left to right, that's me, of course. And then with that wonderful rainbow mask on, that is Nathaniel Burns, our drummer. And he also sings vocals, and he plays a little guitar. And then that's Steve there, who's here with me right now, Steve Davis. And then that's Dylan Poppy there, our bass player with his new 6-string bass. And that's us there in the space where we rehearse and also record. And we are working that space up into be a full-fledged recording studio where we can also live stream with the whole band. Right now we can do the stream with just me and Steve because it's less complicated. But once we got that space better developed, we'll be able to live stream with the whole band, which will be super exciting. And this is a clip this is a screenshot from our video, our Barbecue Protest music video. If you haven't seen the video, you got to check it out. And I wouldn't say that about just everything. I mean, it's really just had such an impact. There's a lot of adorable, beautiful sanctuary animals in it, plus, the band playing. And you can find it pinned to the top of our Facebook page. If you go to Scarlet Rescue, our Facebook page is pinned to the top. We're also on YouTube. You can search for us on YouTube and watch it there, subscribe to us there. And we're
going to say, we'll put the links for everything. We'll be in the links so you guys can come back to the comments and find the links to all of this.
Yeah, we're really trying to get our project off the ground. Everything we do is to benefit the movement and benefit sanctuaries. So your support means a lot to us, even if that's as simple as just liking our Facebook page, or watching our video on YouTube and maybe leaving a comment. Those kinds of seemingly small things, can make a big difference as we're trying to reach a wider audience and reach the non-vegan public as well with this with our message of liberation.
Yeah. We've got to normalize nonviolence, right, ladies?
Can I tell the story of that last picture? Can I just tell?
Yeah, sure.
So that's me with his name is Adorable. So it's Adorable, and he lives at Amy's Animal Sanctuary here in the Phoenix area. He is a male calf who was thrown away on the side of the road from the dairy industry in near death. And he was rescued. A Good Samaritan rescued him. And he's now living out his life at Amy's Sanctuary. And the female cows there have been mothering him. So that's a really, really happy rescue story to share. You know, this beautiful being who's almost condemned to death and now has a chance to live a full and happy life.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's a great story. Sarah, we've got about 15 minutes left. So Sarah, what would you like to share? Like how long have you been doing activism now? Would you say?
Since 2009.
2009. Wow. So what? That's 11 years. And has it changed at all? Have you seen changes come about from when you started till now in terms of the way people, the availability of vegan food, the way people view vegans, all of that, the people knowing what a vegan is, even at one point they didn't know?
Definitely. Yeah. Before, when we were maybe 3 of us or 4 of us at a circus protest outside, we're outside of a place where they're using elephants for entertainment or tigers that really need to be in the wild and not in circuses, obviously. And we've been doing this for a long time. And, we're successful in getting one of the major circuses off the road and retiring their elephants from performing. There's been many successes. So we just have to keep going. We never want to, give up, because just like our great late John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis, who just passed, he was great in Congress because he helped pass all of the animal bills. He always voted yes on anything that was animal welfare. He had a 100% report card. So I really liked what he stood for.
Well,
and I was really lucky to have been able to meet him when I lived in Atlanta. Yeah, I met him when I lived in Atlanta. So it was really cool. So yeah. I mean, like I said, I was even doing activism this past weekend at Santa Monica and at the Promenade, and there's not very many people out, right? But so what? If you talk to one person, it just takes that one. Like I said, it just took one person to tell me something and show me the light. So we just always have to be there, because there is hope. And I just became a climate healer in January. And that is with Dr. Silesh Rao's group, Climate Healers. And I have my own Facebook page for Climate Healers Los Angeles now. So I'd love for everybody to come on and follow Climate Healers Los Angeles.
Put that in the links.
Like our page, sure. And then also we're working on Boycott Meat, boycottmeat.com. I've put it in the comments. That's to help not just the animals, but the workers, because as we know, a lot of workers have had COVID and a lot of places have shut down. They call them processing plants, but they're slaughterhouses. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot going on. I mean, there's always something going on. Unfortunately, because humans choose to use animals for clothing, food, and entertainment, until all 3 of those things stop, we must continue every single day to use our voice for the voiceless, because we must do it. They are not able to. They are stuck. They are hostages, as our good friend Renee would say. They are being held hostage against their will. And we must help free them and liberate them. That's the least we could do, because they don't want to be there. That's not right. We should never do that, because we wouldn't want that to happen to our children. I mean, all these people locked up during COVID are going crazy. Imagine that if you were in a zoo, your entire life taken away from your family. So people should really think about that. And I really just think that people need to stop being so selfish.
Really?
Yes.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Lisa, I wanted to ask you I put you on the spot a little bit. Do you think you can play one more song? Because we have a little extra time.
Okay, yeah, I'm always happy to. And if people want to see just all of our links to all our stuff, you can go to scarletrescue.com. So it's Scarlet with 1 T, rescue, all one word.com. And there, our Facebook link, our Instagram link, we have a Twitter now, our YouTube, all that. So, okay, so I'll try to play something a little lighter, maybe to wrap us up.
Okay. Yeah, we have about 12 minutes, so that should be plenty.
Oh, it's way shorter than that, fortunately. So this is a song, it's kind of about mansplaining. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Uh-huh.
I think I know you probably
know what it is who doesn't know.
Yeah, right? And sometimes that coincides with meat splaining, right? Or like, you know, non-vegan people trying to tell you about humane meat and all that kind of great stuff. So anyway, it's just a little bit of a humorous take on that. And it's called He's Got an Answer. 10,000 years have passed and it don't matter much to him that 10,000 years have passed before. There's nothing he can't do, nothing he won't say, 'cause don't you know he knows it anyway. He's got an answer for everything. He's got an answer for everything. So if you want to know about how meat fueled our ancestors' brains and the protein that he needs to get those gains, he says that plants feel pain, but killing animals is humane. Before you can explain, he surely will maintain that he's at the top of the food chain, the very top of the food chain. The food chain. He's got an answer for everything. He's got an answer for everything. So if you want to know about how to drive your car, how to play your guitar, what kind of beer to buy, the best type of beef to fry, he's got an answer for everything. He's got an answer for everything. He's got an answer for everything.
Wow, that was great. I love that.
Thank you.
That was really great.
We need a little something funny to uplift us sometimes.
I think sometimes we need to laugh. We need a little humor, but there are some good things happening. I just want to mention something. I want to ask people if they can to go to, oh my gosh, I forgot. Oh my God. Never mind. I'm having a senior moment. I'll announce it next time. Oh, I feel so embarrassed. Anyway, Sarah, what would you like to say, wrapping things up here?
I would like to say
I remember. Sorry, Gentle Giants. Gentle Giants.
Oh, yeah.
If you can donate to Gentle Giants, I finally remembered, because they are doing amazing work with the elephants in Thailand. We want to keep the elephants home, and they're helping the mahouts, which are the trainers, and the people in the villages are also starving because the tourism collapsed. So if anybody can, go to their site, gentlegiants.org, and donate. That would be amazing. $2, whatever you can donate. I just wanted to give that little plug because they are amazing too. Go ahead, Sarah.
Also, Love Always is raising funds, and there's still a fundraiser on GoFundMe. And my laptop is dying soon, so we have to get off. But so just go to Love Always and you can donate. There's also a GoFundMe. It's also on Jane Unchained or Marlene's page.
Okay, Lisa, any last words?
Just, if you're watching this and you're listening to this, if you're not vegan already, please become vegan. It's seriously the single best thing that any human on this planet can do right now. And it's beautiful. We need to do it for the animals, but it's also beautiful for us. And if you are vegan, I'll say it again, you probably already are a badass activist. And
yes, that was the theme of the show today.
If you're watching this, but if you're not, there's a badass activist in you.
Yeah.
Sarah. Look at how Sarah stood up in that room full of people.
Yeah.
Speaking truth to power. I mean, what could be to create a meaningful life? We have to think about what it means to live a meaningful life, right? That's a meaningful life to me. That's like doing something with this life that matters. You know, and we all have our own way of being activists, right? I'm trying to do it with my music and my teaching, and also, you know, doing some street activism. There's so many, you can write just in your daily conversations with people. And I want to just say, I'll say one, I won't go on too long, but Sarah's activism and Sarah's story about Sarah, how you went vegan, reminded me that I think sometimes there's too much emphasis in the movement occasionally about just always being super nice, always being super polite. Don't speak too strongly when you're talking to non-vegans. Don't use the wrong words. Don't trigger them. I think that's damaging. I think that many people have gone vegan because of a very direct, right? Like it sounds like you did, Sarah. Someone said, if you love animals, why are you still eating them? Right? That's pretty direct.
I think that everyone's different, and different approaches work with different people. But yeah, we can't negate or leave anything out. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. And everybody has their aha moment at a different time. So
everyone's pre-vegan in their heart. Everyone is pre-vegan, and I learned a word the other day, kind of combining it. Pregan. You're pregan. So you're pregan. So you're already love animals. You just have to align your actions with what you believe.
Yeah.
And what about the humans? What about the babies? Well, I'll tell you, if you go vegan, we can feed all the grains that are going to the animals and all the water. We can feed it to the humans. So there's your answer. What about the humans? What about abortion? Okay, well, these animals are raped. I mean, they're raped. They're artificially inseminated, and bestiality is actually legal in California. And we need to get that outlawed, because that's why dairy exists, is bestiality. So the men can put their fist up the female cows and impregnate them, and then they can take the males and the females away from their moms. The whole thing is just about babies. Once again, if you care about babies, please stop eating them. That's very simple.
And if you care about babies, don't feed them milk, because it makes childhood diabetes. There's all sorts of things. The hormones, naturally, they say hormone free, but it has all the hormones the cow gives to its baby to grow it to a big cow. It's not for humans. But we'll have to come back and talk about that another time, because we're running out of time. But Steve, come on up to the front for a moment, because we're going to
see you here. I'll step.
No. Can you both stay there?
Just living room here with our cat.
Thank you so much for being on. And do you want to add anything real quick? We have like 2 minutes left. Do you want to add anything about? We've been chatting about our activism. You have anything you want to say to everyone about your veganism?
You know, I'd say being part of a movement like this, as Lisa said, means that you can do any kind of activism, all right? You don't have to just do one kind or another kind. I don't like it when somebody's saying, oh, you're not vegan unless you do this or unless you do that. As long as you're doing something, it matters. It can make a difference. And really, this art, this music, it just brings you alive in so many ways. We are not just making music because we want, oh, let's sing another love song or something. Those are nice, and I know we all tap our feet and dance to those kinds of songs, but that's not what Scarlet Rescue is about. We are an all-vegan punk rock band, sometimes pop punk, whatever, but we are definitely punk at heart. And the creativity of this, the energy of it all is amazing. So really, Nathaniel and Dylan, are amazing bandmates. Lisa is an amazing band leader. And we're just going to we've got other songs that are in the works. Lisa, what are a couple of the titles?
Oh, if they don't mind. So I saw that when we were looking at Kim's activism, that one thing she was protesting was the vivisection industry.
Yeah.
It's a horrific industry. I mean, I've learned a lot about it in the last few months because we're organizing a campaign against it at the university where I teach. We have now over 3,000 signatures on a petition in about 6 months. So I've learned a lot about it. It is an industry, just like agriculture. It's about money. It's about grant money, the facilities that breed these beings and ship them around. It's a nightmare. So we have a song about that. It's called Key Card to Hell. And it's an upbeat, like driving fast song. I've got the song Seeing Her, Being Her. We're working on a full music video for that, like the one we had for Barbecue Protest. It's sort of an intersectional perspective on social justice. So it compares the oppression of a human woman without a home, a young woman who has been the victim of acquaintance rape or date rape, and then a dairy cow who's been raped and in the industry. So, and ties them together. And the chorus is, maybe you don't like seeing her because you wouldn't like being her. And it's asking the question, why do we turn away from these injustices? And I'm hoping with this one to maybe reach beyond the already vegan crowd, because it's talking about human social justice issues and saying, like, if we care about that, we have to care about these animals too.
Yeah. In our university settings, you can talk, and in academic papers and things like that, you can talk endlessly about intersectionality, and you can try to answer up here in the head. But I think once people hear this song, then they'll finally realize, oh, now we see what vegans mean about how they're for the people as well as for the animals. And that's why it's Scarlet Rescue. And we're rocking for all species liberation. That's our tagline, rock for all species liberation.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you guys. Our time is up.
Thank you
for being on the show.
Thank you.
Maybe you'll come back and do some more of those songs, and maybe you can bring your whole band back with you, which would be awesome. So we'll make sure we set that out. Sarah, thank you so much for being on. I know I see you on Facebook all the time, all your activism. It's weekly, even during COVID, you're out there for the animals. And I just think it's so admirable. And that's why I wanted to have you on and tell you that personally. So thank you so much for being on as well. And we'll bring Kim back when she's feeling better. And everybody, please check back next week at the same time, 5 o'clock. See you then. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lindsay. Thank you, Sarah. You're both a huge inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you.